Hi everyone, it's Carla theBubblelush, and this is the first video in a series of cloth diapering. And, excuse me, I'm coming down with a bit of a cold. I kind of sound like a man. When I mentioned that I was going to cloth diaper, one of the questions that I just kept getting was, why would you cloth diaper if you were going to be working at least part-time after the baby was born? I think this is definitely a valid question, and so what I'm going to do is explain why we're going to cloth diaper and then explain the facts and figures that led up to us making our decision. So I don't want anybody to be offended if they have chose to disposable diaper. It's totally your choice. This is just the reasons why I have made the decision that I've made, and my husband totally agrees with me. So first, the reason why we're going to be cloth diapering, even if I'm going to be working part-time, is that the only three caregivers for our baby is going to be me, my husband, and my mother. And my husband and I are totally comfortable with our choice. I am an environmental engineer, and my husband works for an environmentally conscious company, so it just kind of fits with us. And my mother, the other caregiver, she cloth diapered me and my brother, so it's just normal to her. So, it's not that big of a deal as far as the ew factor, but this is just some of the reasons why we have chose to cloth diaper instead of disposable diaper, because looking at the facts and figures around disposable diapers, they just really concern me. So, the first one is that each disposable diaper takes 1 cup of crude oil just to make the plastic in that diaper. Let's assume 8 diapers a day for the first year. It's a little more in the beginning, it's a little less in the end, but I think 8 diaper changes a day is a good average for the first year. That means that you're using a ½ gallon of crude oil a day, or just over 180 gallons in the first year. So we're going to make each gallon weigh about 7 pounds. That's pretty accurate. So that's almost 1,300 pounds of crude oil used to make the plastic in diapers for 1 year. And while crude oil is a natural resource, it's not a renewable resource, so this really concerns me. Take it one step further. You're looking at 1.5 tons of crude oil by the time the child is potty trained. And that doesn't even include the oil used to make the plastic on the packages of diapers. So it really concerns me. Then once you throw them away, it takes between 200 and 500 years for a disposable diaper to decompose in a landfill. And until then, it's this tightly wrapped package of plastic, chemicals, urine, and feces. And when that eventually does break down, it's going into our ground and water systems. I was a environmental consultant, and I worked solely with ground and groundwater remediation. So feel free to argue with me, but I've dealt with this before on the other side. So an estimated 27.4 billion disposable diapers are used in the United States alone. That results in 3.4 million tons of used diapers added to landfills each year. 3.4 million tons. It's just getting to a point where we are throwing everything in our landfills and we're not recycling as much as we should. This is a hot topic to debate, but, you know, for example, Hawaii has run out of room to store their trash, and so they've gotten permission to bring their trash all the way to Oregon and store it in someplace in eastern Oregon. I am an Oregonian, and so this concerns me. It concerns me that we're getting to a point where we're running out of room to store our trash, and I think that it's going to come to a time when we're just going to need to rethink all of our excess packaging and the products that we use, and look at them not only for what the value of their content, but also how wasteful their packaging is, because that sticks around longer than the actual food or product does. I'll get off my soapbox. While it's possible to buy disposable diapers that are more economically friendly to the environment, they usually cost more. And if you're following the rules, you would still have to remove any fecal matter. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you look at the packaging on disposable diapers, it's in like size 2 font, but it says that it's illegal to throw away fecal matter into landfills. You're supposed to knock off any solids into the toilet before you wrap up and throw away disposable diapers. So you would still have to like mess with the poo if you're following the law. And really, from a landfill standpoint, I wish that everybody would throw away the feces before throwing away the diaper, because it's just kind of gross to think of all that poo in our landfills. And I guess it just comes down to the fact that we don't throw away our underwear every time we use them. We wash them and we dry them and we wear them again, so it's not that big of a stretch to do the same thing with cloth diapers, in my opinion. Now, when my husband and I purchased this house, we had to buy a washer and dryer. And so we bought a front-loading, extremely high-efficiency washer and dryer with the mindset that we were going to be washing cloth diapers in them. So I'm really not concerned about the increased water usage. It's true, it's a couple extra loads a week, but I already have a high-efficient machine, so my water usage was less than when I was in the apartment and had a regular top-loading washer. The garbage man is here. Kind of fitting, right? Yeah. And then as far as the requirement to line dry the cloth diaper shells, I'm 6 feet tall, so I line dry most of my shirts anyways to keep them from shrinking shorter. So it's just going to be a couple extra loads a week on our already established clothesline, so that's not really that big of a deal to me. This one is probably going to be the biggest hot button. I'm an environmental engineer. So I'm really familiar with chemical names, their general usages, and the potential dangers associated with them. So I have to admit that the stay dry nature of the current disposable diapers is really appealing. I mean, you don't want your child sitting in a wet diaper, but that stay dry comes because there's a cocktail of chemicals within that disposable diaper. So I'm doing research on the contents of these disposable diapers, and when I run across chemicals like dioxin, tributyl-10, and sodium polyacrylate, that really concerns me because I know what those chemicals are and I know the dangers associated with them. And I'm just not willing to take the risk of prolonged exposure to my child to those type of compounds because I know I wouldn't want to be exposed to those compounds for a prolonged amount of time, let alone be sitting in them. So just keep in mind that this is my opinion. Disposable diapers are just not something that I'm comfortable with. And as a parent, I don't think that we should do anything that we're not comfortable with, regardless of what society says is normal. This doesn't even take into account the economical benefit of cloth diapers over disposable. While it's a really large initial investment, depending on what brand you go with, once you purchase the supply, the only additional cost is the slightly increased utility expenses, versus disposable diapers, which at an average of $66 a month, end up costing more, and they can't be used with subsequent children. They're a one-time use item, which is their very nature. So I think that just about wraps up why I'm using cloth diapers instead of disposable diapers. Next time I'm going to be talking about some brands and why or why not I chose to keep them on the short list of brands that we're going to be using. As always, I welcome any comments or debate as long as they come from an educated basis. I'll be more than willing to discuss it with you, but please no bashing. There's just really no point. So I hope everyone has a great day, and I look forward to all your comments below. Bye, guys.